Hello everyone, Phoenix Philly here, and welcome back to another Farming Simulator 17 Let's Play, Let's Talk, where we play some Farming Simulator and talk about some serious topics. Originally, this video was supposed to be about the immigration ban. I actually had the video recorded, rendered, uploaded, ready to go. And then Wednesday happened, and I felt like I needed to shift my attention from a video that wasn't really, I wasn't too pleased with it, and it was not really that important to me. It's something that's a little bit more important to me. So if you guys weren't aware, in Delaware, prison Delaware had a hostage situation Wednesday into Thursday where inmates took over an actual building in the prison and took 4 correctional workers hostage, 3 officers and 1 counselor. It lasted, I think it was like 15 hours. It lasted from like 10:30 Wednesday morning to like 5 o'clock morning Thursday. It was a long, just horrific event that really hits you when the people that you know involved. I hate to say luckily, but luckily I didn't personally know any of the workers that were involved. I do have friends that work in the correctional facility. I have friends on the fire department that was dispatched when the initial call came out, that was there right up until it ended. My wife had family that was working the police department up there that was on the scene and all that. So it really hits home harder when it's people you know, or involves people you know. So there was, like I said, it lasted 15 hours. They released one of the hostages earlier on in the day. They released another one early in the evening, and then finally when they actually made their way into the building, they found the 3rd hostage, and then they found the 4th one who didn't make it. Sergeant Stephen Floyd tragically lost his life in that whole ordeal. And a lot of people on Twitter took to Twitter to somehow justify what was going on, and called it a rebellion or whatever they were calling it, and stating facts that they clearly knew nothing about, that was put out there by a mainstream media that wanted to water down the situation. The prison facility in question houses all different levels of inmates, all the way up to maximum security. So numbers were inflated and misrepresented because they looped the whole prison into those numbers they were throwing there. So it was completely misreported, completely outrageous, and it's sickening that so many people were trying to justify what these inmates were doing. And even till now, they want the inmates to be, they don't want the inmates to face any charges. How can you sit there and hope that nothing happens to the prisoners after they just killed a man? I don't care what they were before. I don't care if they were just, petty thieves. I don't care what they were. Now they are a murderer. They murdered a man simply to act a fool. And so many people were claiming, oh, it's all about Trump. There's people risking their lives to tell you how bad Trump is. Talking to somebody who was actually in the same building just a few months ago and knows a lot of people currently still in there, it had nothing to do with Trump. in his words, they wanted to act a fool, and once they saw that they got attention, they decided to make a political statement to try to somehow justify the stupid crap that they were doing. And I censored myself there. These are words from a person that was actually an inmate in that exact same building with most of those same prisoners that is saying this. And I believe him over anything you see and read in a freaking newspaper, because so many people are trying to make a political statement out of everything. It's just sickening. Sergeant Stephen Floyd lost his life. He has a wife. He has a family that he's not going to get to go home to anymore. They're not going to have him come home anymore. How is this okay by any means? I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care who you side with. How is it okay that this man's life no longer exists? How is that okay by any means, regardless of who's sitting in the White House? How is that okay? Why should someone murdered someone? And of course, they didn't release how he actually died. There was a statement earlier on in the day that says one of the hostages were stabbed and was bleeding out. That could very well be the person that was stabbed, because as far as I've been keeping up with the situation. Like I said, I had friends that were involved in it. My wife had family that were involved in it. We wanted to stay as much up to date as possible on this topic. And the other three were not harmed physically. Of course, there's going to be a ton of mental, I don't know what the mental scarring. Is that a word? Is that a phrase? I don't know. Because no amount of training can prepare you for something like that. It's sad. It really is. So, by process of elimination, this could be the one that was stabbed. So, and this is just me speculating. These inmates stabbed a man to death. Let him bleed out. They're murderers. Why are you trying to justify what they're doing? It's disheartening that our society has come to this, that a man's life is so worthless because of what he stands for. It gives me it really makes my upset to my stomach, actually, because I'm thinking this is the world that my kids are going to grow up in, and this is the mentality of America now. It's okay to kill a correctional officer to get your point across. It's okay to do that as long as you got a purpose. Now, if let's put the shoe on the other foot. If Hillary would have won the election and these people were rioting because of Hillary, it'd be a whole different story. Be a completely different story. They wouldn't face any death penalty. They'll probably have charges added on, because they don't believe in death penalty. But it's if the shoe were on the other foot, there wouldn't be cries for justice and letting these guys go, because they were just trying to make a point. By the way, the main demand that they wanted was some sort of education program and rehabilitation program to get them, make it back. Let me tell you this. The same friend that I have that was just in that building a couple months ago had education offered to him, had some sort of rehabilitation program offered to him. These are facts. This is not made up. This is actual truth. Matter of fact, I was talking to some of my friends. They said it's pretty much common that actually someone say it's even a law that they offer some sort of education Um, I don't know that, and that's don't quote me on that. That's actually true. I'm just heard here talking about hearsay, but I know for a fact that this prison offered inmates education programs and rehabilitation programs because I had friends that were in there. So everything that these people are arguing to somehow justify what these inmates done is just all lies perpetrated by mainstream media to try to serve a point. It's so sickening. It's so absolutely disgusting that a man's life is gone, and they they think so little of it that they're trying to make a political point out of it. Now, this brings me to my next point, and it's something that is quite well known here in Delaware. Uh, this prison is completely understaffed, and the correctional officers they have are completely overworked. Um, Mandatory overtime. I what was it? I don't remember what the exact numbers. I don't want to ramble off incorrect numbers, but it's something they've been asking for since the beginning of the year. They need more correctional officers, and even when they were asked about it in the press conferences, the director's like, oh well, we were actually currently taking steps to try to solve our problems, actively recruiting, and all that you know running the chops, trying to make things play things down, but it's very well known that this prison is severely understaffed, and it's sad that it takes something like this to I'll just roll in this to make them wake up and smell the coffee. Maybe I'm hoping this gets something done because I don't want to see, especially when you got friends in there, and I don't know where this person read it, but apparently it was said that this was a test run. Inmates actually have more plans, so I hope, and I don't think they'll get much more accomplished because that place is going to be on lockdown. But I hope that the state wakes up because not only are they understaffed and overworked, but they're also paid the least of any correctional facility around here. The correctional averages for every state around us is considerably higher than what it is in Delaware. Of course, Delaware is a much smaller state and less I wouldn't say risk because look at this just happened, but it's something that needs to be definitely addressed. And the saddest part about it is I'm from a state where the governor apologized just last year for slavery. Just last year, not a single person in Delaware living today owned slaves, but yet we apologized for slavery just last year. And it's sad to say, but if pressured hard enough, I can see the state stepping in and not press any charges against these inmates. It's that sad to say that that actually could happen. That is actually a plausible thought here in Delaware. I hope it's not. These inmates need to pay for what they've done. I don't care how bad you think you got it. Guess what? You chose to be there. Nobody chose to commit that crime for you. You chose to do it. Man up and take action for it. And this is not all inmates that are involved because I think they said that the number that they put out was 120 inmates were in that building at the time. They're going to question all 120 of them. But there were when they released the second hostage, 19 of the prisoners actually were removed from the building as well. They left under their own will, like they wanted to leave. and they let them go. And when, again, this has not been confirmed, but in a news article I read, the female counselor that was being held hostage, there was actually prisoners that were protecting her from other prisoners, which speaks volumes. And there's people out there. I understand it completely. I have someone very close in my family that screwed up when he was younger. He's been to prison. He spent most of his young adult life in prison. Now he's out. He's got a steady job. He's actually a manager for a company that he works with. He's got a family. He's well off now. It's always a black stain on his record. When he goes to apply, when he went to apply for the jobs. Luckily, he found this company he works for now. He found the job, and they overlooked that part in his that part in his background check, and gave him a chance, and he's proved his worth. And like I said, he's worked his way up the ladder, and I can't be more proud of him. I really can't. Like I said, he's got a family now. He's settled right down, and I'm proud of him. There are people in there that make them mistakes. There are people that, when they're young, do something stupid and get hauled off to prison, and they make their choices in prison to not end up back there. Do whatever they can to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's, like I said, there were reports that there were prisoners actually in the building guarding the female hostage to make sure no harm came of her, which speaks volumes too. And I hope somehow that those prisoners are acknowledged for their courage to stand up to what was going on and not fall in line with the rest of them. But when you actively, when you make the choice to take someone's life because you are unhappy with the choice you made, you need the fullest extent of the law executed on your ass. You need to be locked up for the rest of your life. I don't care what it is. I when you take someone's life, eye for an eye. I fully believe in that. My state doesn't. That's why I like Texas. They believe in execution and they use it. To quote Ron Wood. But it's just I think the main point of this video is don't trust anything you read online, because this story was so misreported by mainstream media that it had people cheering for these prisoners, had people that were holding people hostage. These people were cheering for him, and now, even after a man is dead, hope that they face no charges. I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't. I mean, the Floyd family tonight are missing someone that they hold dear. This person, by all means, from what I know, from what I've read from friends, was not your typical hard ass, sorry for the language, correctional officer. He was actually a very friendly person towards inmates. He was a stand-up guy, from what I've been told. Like I said, I didn't know the guy personally. I can't answer if that is actually how he was, but nothing but positivity from what I've read. So it's not like this guy was beating up inmates, all that. He was actually a decent guy. He's been working in prison for 16 years. So, the Floyd family, you guys are in our thoughts and prayers through this tough time, and especially the other hostages that were taken. thoughts and prayers go out to you as well as you recover from the mental trauma that you've been through. It's going to be a long, hard road to get to a safe place again. I can only see it coming. That's really all I got for you guys today. Sucky ending it on that sour note, or that sad note. That how can you make any sort of happy ending to such a tragic event? I'm gonna leave it that there. If you guys like the video, be sure to leave a like down below. If you guys want to see more Let's Plays, Let's Talks in the future, be sure to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Bye bye.